Yes, Tikanome. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rose, and today we are talking about Madeira versus Crete. Okay, so my husband and I recently went to Madeira in Portugal, and I couldn't help but compare Madeira to Crete. And because I knew I was going to make this video, I was able to ask a lot of questions. In fact, I even visited real estate agencies just to have a feel of the cost of living on Madeira. And first of all, I want to say Madeira is a very beautiful island, but of course it's much smaller than Crete. So let's have a look at Madeira. Madeira, first of all, offers you that all year round living in terms of good weather and that tropical climate. Like it's evergreen in Madeira, because even as we were there, it was like summertime. We were dressed in our summer clothes, and we were there towards end of October. So we were in our summer clothes, and it was hot, like it was really hot. One thing I noticed about the island, I suppose because of its size, it's easier to, I guess, to beautify the island. Like everywhere you went, whether you went to the countryside, whether you are in Funchal, which is the capital, everything is just so beautiful, and flowers everywhere, and it was really beautiful. Now, one thing Madeira cannot beat Crete with is beaches. Madeira has no beaches, okay? There are no beaches. The only thing I noticed in Madeira, they have these things they call natural pools. I guess it's pools that are just made near the sea, so the pools fill up with the sea water. And unfortunately, you have to pay to use those pools, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like here on Crete, you can just come to the beach and just, even now people, well, right now there's nobody in the sea, but the other day when I was here, there were people in the sea just swimming, So that's one thing I can say I didn't like about Madeira. There are no beaches. You cannot even like have a walk, along the beach. So you just look at the sea from a distance. It's very rocky. The island is very rocky. Wow, but I would say the wine was very nice. The wine is very nice in Madeira, and cheap, by the way, guys. The wine was cheap. Like I was buying a very nice bottle of Chardonnay for very cheap. I would say when it comes to the cost of living, I found things like grocery, because obviously we were doing grocery shopping and I was looking at the prices and everything. I would say it's actually a little bit cheaper. My husband said it's like almost like, 20% cheaper or something than here. So from that perspective, Madeira is cheaper. But when it comes to the actual living, finding an apartment, that is where now the cost goes up. Because when I spoke to the estate agencies, I was like, okay, so how much would it cost me to get a 2-bedroom apartment not exactly in the center of Funchal? Of course, any city, even in Hanya, if you find a 2-bedroom apartment, a nice 2-bedroom apartment in the middle of Hanya, of course it's gonna be expensive. But even just a little bit outside the city, you find that you cannot find a good 2-bedroom apartment without spending something like 1,200 euros, 1,200. Because if you go to, like, you want to spend, let's say, I don't know, 750, they're like, we cannot find anything. We cannot find anything for that price. We cannot find a 2-bedroom apartment for that price. So I find here I think you can find a very, very nice, in fact you can even find a sea view villa for like 800 euros. You can find, and especially let's say in Calives, I think you can find a very nice place with sea views and everything, just near the beach and near everything. You can find something very nice for, I would say, for 850. Let's put it at 850. You can find something very nice for that price. Very nice. So when it comes to properties and real estate in general in Madeira, it's very high. It's very high. Even as you look to buy properties there, wow, my goodness. I thought Crete was getting expensive in terms of real estate, but Madeira, in fact, we were speaking to one estate agent and she was telling us the last couple of years the prices have gone crazy. Like, I guess the island is in such high demand that the prices have just gone so crazy. And unfortunately, we were also I was speaking to a young lady, a Portuguese young lady who, I just went to the shop, you know, as we do. I went shopping and I was speaking to that lady. I was buying some clothes. And we got talking and I told her I'm living on Crete, and I told her it looks very expensive here. And unfortunately, she told me that because the property prices are so high, it's actually driving the locals from the island, and they're just having to move to the mainland Portugal. So it's like, she was like, unfortunately, in a few years' time, maybe 5-10 years, there will be more expats living on the island and fewer locals, because the locals are being pushed out because of the prices. Young people, you know, a young couple who just got married, because in her case she had just gotten married, and they cannot even afford you know, to buy a place or even to have a nice apartment near their workplace. So they're driving for hours to come to work, and that I didn't like. I didn't like that the locals are gonna be driven out of the island because of the high prices. But I guess it is what it is. You know, rich people go there and they buy these properties at very high prices, so the properties just go up. So if I was to compare Madeira and Crete, I think Crete gives you different options for an island living. You know, you can live up the mountains if you like, or you can come and live by the sea. And because of its size, you have access to a lot of things, because obviously, like, for example, in Heraklion, that's the capital of the island, and it's the third biggest city in Greece. So you have access to everything, universities, big hospitals, everything that you need. You have access to those things. So I feel like if you are to buy property in Madeira to live there, because it's a small island, you probably won't have access to a lot of things, because they were telling us a lot of things have to be imported from the mainland, like you know, even furniture and things for the house and so yeah, I feel when it comes to the quality of island living, Crete has a lot to offer. Of course, we have beaches, we have a lot of things here on the island for people to enjoy. But I just wanted to make a fun video comparing those two islands, because you can't help it. Like, you look at the island, you're like, let me compare this island with Crete and see if Crete will emerge as the winner. And I feel like Crete has a lot to offer. It's beautiful. It's just that, especially on this side of the island, you do get the winter feel. You know, you get the winter season, because when we were in Heraklion, somebody was telling me in Heraklion they don't feel it so much in the winter, but on the Hanya side you do feel it. You do feel the winter. So. But on Madeira, I suppose they don't feel it so much, because they have that tropical climate, sort of. But they were saying on the north of the island, like in Santana, one of the estate agents was telling us, in that area called Santana, they get the winds, cold winds from Europe, so they do get that winter kind of feel for a while. She said it doesn't last for a long time, but they do get it on that side. So it depends if you buy on the south side, or if you want to live on the island. If you don't want to have if you don't like cold, then she was saying maybe you can consider the south side, you know, around Funchal, near Funchal. But then if you don't mind the cold, she was telling us a lot of people from the UK, from Canada, they live in Santana. They don't mind the cold. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and do this comparison, because maybe you would want to move to Madeira. Actually, the fuel price in Madeira, we were surprised, my husband and I, because the fuel price was actually lower, because here right now, the fuel, the petrol is at 1.85. We actually fueled the car yesterday, so I remember that very clearly. It's 1.85, okay? And in Madeira, it was 1.6. I remember very well, because I actually have a receipt for when we filled up the car there. So it was 1.6. So I was surprised that the fuel was cheaper, because actually that time here the fuel was almost getting to 2 euros a liter. It was so close. It was 1.9 something. So now it has come down a little bit. It's 1.85. But there that time it was actually 1.6. So I was surprised. So there are some areas where you're gonna save money, but then there are some areas where you're gonna spend a lot of money. So I guess it sort of like balances it out, because if you're paying rent so high, beer is expensive, guys. Okay, beer is expensive. Wine is cheaper for the ladies there who like wine. Wine is cheap. Like, for example, just to give you a picture, if you buy like those box wines, people sometimes buy, especially when you're having a barbecue, you go and buy a box wine, and the box is 5 liters. Okay, here we pay 12 euros. Okay, it used to be 10 euros. They have just increased. Now it's 12 euros. In Madeira, it's 8 euros for 5 liters, and it's good wine. Even though it's box wine, it's good wine. It's 8 euros. That time we checked, I was just checking things, because as I said, I knew I'm gonna make this video. So I was checking things. So you find what we are paying here, 12 euros, there it's 8 euros. So, but beer is expensive. My husband drinks beer, and he said he found it expensive there. So beer is cheaper here. So yeah, if you're a wine drinker, maybe you can move to Madeira. But if you're a beer drinker, and especially if you drink a lot of beer, that will be expensive. Smoke cigarettes is the same price. It's the same price as here. So I'm just throwing random facts there, so maybe you can, maybe there's somebody there who is considering moving to Madeira, or maybe thinking, oh, should I move to Crete or should I move to Madeira? Okay, as I said, Crete gives you more options in terms of island living. Okay, but Madeira just gives you one option. Like you're just, it's just one option. Like you just up the mountains somewhere. Okay, there is no beaches. You cannot say you're gonna buy a beach house. Okay, there are some man-made beaches. We saw one in somewhere called Machico. Yes, Machico. But that was just a small beach, I guess, for people to go and play there, children to go and play there. So it's not like you can say I'm gonna buy me a beach house in Madeira. That's not gonna happen. So here on Crete, you can buy yourself a beach house. You can buy your a house on top of the mountain somewhere. You can buy I don't know, an apartment in the middle of Hanya or in the middle of Heraklion in the city. You can have city life. You can There's a lot you can do actually on this island. There's a lot you can do. There's even parts of this island that feel like you're living in Hawaii. You know, like when you go to Vai Beach, you know, where there are a lot of palm trees, the palm forest and everything. So maybe I'm biased because I live here, but I don't know. It was beautiful in Madeira. It's got its own character. Crete has its own character, different places, because Crete is such a huge island. You can go to another place and then it feels like you are somewhere else because it's so big. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let me stop rambling because there are people who complain that I'm rambling. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel today. My name is Rose. If you haven't subscribed, please, come on. Give me a subscription, like my videos, watch until the end, give me that watch time. And thank you so much. And I shall see you on my next one. Bye-bye.